Hey, it's Huck, and I'm uploading this video to my political channel, Huck at Home, using my smartphone. And as I explained on my main channel here a little over a week ago, my computer is kind of kaput, and I'm not able to edit video on there, so I'm using my smartphone here to make videos, until such time, if ever, that I can, arrange to get maybe some kind of used or refurbished computer that is capable of editing video. Right now, it's just not working. I appreciate some of the comments on that last video where I explained that. Some people gave me some suggestions, but the truth is it's not the power supply. I have cleaned it inside and out. That's not the problem. I think there's probably things wrong with the hard drive. Just too many programs added and taken off over the years. It's nearly 10 years old. Whatever the problems are, well, at any rate, I wanted to talk today about something that, I've given a lot of thought to. Now, let me just say before I go any further is that, as I've said before, regardless of who comes out of this process, I am going to vote for the Democratic nominee in the upcoming presidential election, whether that be Hillary Clinton or whether that be Bernie Sanders. But I am pulling for Bernie Sanders because I think it has finally come time for America to wake up to what's been going on. And that is that we have seen the slow, steady decline of our economy, of our ability to access health care, of our ability to take care of our roads and bridges, of our ability to educate ourselves, retrain ourselves, our ability to get, quality mental health, care, on a whole host of issues. We have seen a slow, steady decline in the quality of our life and prosperity. And this is because, the Republican Party has become ideologues with really bad ideas. And they have become, hardline ideologues, refusing to compromise on their principle or principles. So one of the things that caught my attention today is, President Obama gave a speech yesterday, returning to Springfield, Illinois, where he, launched his presidential campaign 9 years ago. And in that speech, he basically, in not so many words, but tacitly endorsed Hillary Clinton, basically because she was less strident, less an ideologue, and more open to compromise and working with the other party, I guess, if you're going to sum up his comments in a nutshell. And that's all well and fine. Normally, that's how Congress has always worked. You don't get everything you want, but you get a little bit closer to your goal. And, for many years, I guess that may have been true. We have seen a decline in America's progress, really dating back to, certainly the Reagan administration. And part of the reason is because we have, the opposition party here, the Republican Party, is no longer willing to compromise. And that unwillingness, that obstinance, has grown worse with each passing year. It's not just that they have been unwilling to compromise, but it's that their principles and their ideology has grown so much further to the right. And so when you compromise with someone, or in this case a party, that is so far to the right, any compromise you come up with isn't going to be a nudge towards progress. It's going to be a nudge towards decline. And that's what we've seen with stagnant wages. That's what we've seen. I'll give you a couple of examples. We're dealing with a party now that is committed to ending Social Security and Medicare, not, restructuring it in some way so that it lasts longer. If that was the argument that, we've got to do something to make Social Security sustainable over a longer period of time, well, then you could start looking at the various means of doing that. What does compromise look like when you're dealing with somebody that, is committed to ending Social Security? Well, basically, you're ending with cuts to the program. How do you deal with a party that is committed to sustaining the status quo with health care, leaving millions of people uninsured, allowing costs to rise out of control for people that can't afford it? Well, what your compromise is left with is basically the Affordable Care Act, which now cannot be tweaked to improve many of its flaws, with an insurance coverage that many people cannot actually access health care because of, deductible costs and copay costs that are so high that basically you can't get the health care you need even though you are insured. And trust me, I'm dealing with that right now because I have to now, I have to get off of Medicaid and pick a plan on the healthcare exchange. And that's what I'm finding, is that virtually any plan that I can afford to get, I am not going to be able to access a lot of the care that I need, whether it be my oxygen or whether it be some of the, when you're dealing with, $1,000 or $1,500 deductibles that you have to pay up front before you can even get some of the resources or treatment that you need. What good is the insurance coverage, basically, if you can't come up with that kind of immediate cash? So how do you compromise with a party that is committed to giving even more tax cuts to the wealthiest individuals in America in the face of a $19 trillion debt, in the face of exorbitant, expenditures on defense, war, and homeland security, not to mention the fact that we are underfunding education, we are underfunding, mental health, we are underfunding infrastructure, we are underfunding, a whole host of things. How do you compromise with them? Well, you end up sustaining, the tax rates that are already too low for the wealthy, and you end up, sustaining the tax subsidies and tax loopholes that you're already giving, corporations that are paying little, if anything. So I guess I take issue with the idea that we need a candidate at this point in time that is willing to compromise to find solutions. Trust me, we have learned over the last 8 years that any compromise that we make with the Republican Party is going to leave us worse off, not a little better off. So compromise is fine when you can actually see a little bit of something that you desperately need. Compromise is a losing proposition when it just puts you further behind the 8 ball. So I am thinking this is why Bernie Sanders, after giving it a lot of thought, decided to jump into the race. Because there does come a time when eventually you have to say enough is enough and stand up for principle. And I think Bernie Sanders has been realistic. He's not promising many of the things that he's offering with his campaign. He's not telling anyone ever that, tuition-free college or, universal health care, single payer. He's not promising that these things are things he can deliver. He mentions in every campaign stop, in every speech, that these are things that we will only achieve when millions of Americans stand up and demand it. As he has said over and over again, this is not something that he or anyone can deliver alone. It is something that is only possible when there is, as he terms it, a real political revolution in this country, where people demand these things. And I believe what we are seeing is maybe a little reluctance on the part of the establishment Democratic Party to believe that such a political revolution can take place. We're hearing it from all of the pundits. We're hearing it from most of the Democratic leadership that they don't really believe this kind of change is possible. And so Bernie Sanders is trying to pull us in this direction with the weight of the world going against him. And people are responding. People are responding, I think, in a larger way than maybe even he would have predicted. In the 24 hours following his huge win in New Hampshire, he raised nearly $7 million in donations, all from people like you and me. And I did something I couldn't resist. I sent $3, and I don't have it. I just don't have it. I didn't go down today, and we got snowed in today, and I've got about 6 inches of snow in my car, and I'm not able to go out and brush the snow off. So I'm having a neighbor go down to get some medicine. I needed an antibiotic. I'm getting a lot of congestion in my chest here, and got to nip that in the bud. But trust me, between getting that that $3 out of my bank account, I feel guilty because I've been getting help that I've desperately needed, unfortunately, and there are still so many things I'm struggling to try to deal with really no, maybe a long-range plan of hopefully getting it done. So giving $3 to something I really believe in, for me, is I feel like I'm almost betraying people that have helped me. Here they're helping me with my financial situation, and here I'm giving $3 away. But I couldn't help myself. I just could not help myself. And so I did, and I'm happy that I did, and I hope you'll do the same. It is time that we stand up for ourselves, and I hope whatever happens through the end of this campaign, I don't know exactly what Bernie Sanders will accomplish. I don't know that he's going to be able to actually wrestle the nomination. But actually what's most important is that he gets enough people fired up to demand we have some of the types of changes and that he's calling for. And if he accomplishes getting a generation of young people, a mix of older folks like me and low-income folks, and basically everybody that's been struggling in this economy, to stand up and demand from our Congress, from our government, that they begin to unravel all of the misguided policies that have put us where we are, and replace those policies with policies that actually help low and middle income folks, that allow us to educate our children and access affordable health care, to repair our roads and bridges and put people to work in livable wage jobs. When we finally rise up and demand this in enough numbers, that's when we're going to start seeing the tide change from compromise that puts us further behind to maybe compromise that puts us a little further ahead. And I think that's the whole plan of Bernie Sanders. I think that's what he's aiming for. And that's why I support him. So anyway, I wanted to get that out. And I thank you for watching. And I'll talk to you again, maybe in the next couple of days. I'm going to watch the Democratic debate. I think that's tonight. And it'll be interesting to see on such short notice with, Bernie's surprising, strength showing in New Hampshire exactly what, what line of attack the Clinton campaign is going to use in this debate tonight. The Clinton machine can be pretty nasty sometimes, I'll be honest with you. It's not just the Republicans. I don't know that they stoop quite as low as some of the Republicans are known to do, especially down in South Carolina where they're campaigning now. But the Clinton campaign can be pretty nasty, and it's not Hillary herself. It'll be, her surrogates, but at any rate, it'll be interesting to see exactly what comes out of that debate. And I'll have something to say about that, and her strengths, and the whole issue of how Bernie is going to fare now with a more diverse electorate in both South Carolina and throughout the rest of the country, particularly the Super Tuesday or SEC states, since so many of them are in the South. So we'll talk a little bit about that as well in my next video. I thank you again for watching. Be kind to one another, and I'll see you again real soon.